Welcome to episode 15 of Beyond the Word with Suite Franchon. Today, Suite Franchon will chop it up with Gif the Griot. He is the creator of Pay Us No Mind, and they're talking the power, the revenue, branding, and legacy power of just one. We're going to be talking straight talk, no chaser. So just get ready. So right now, while you're waiting, I want you to check them both out online. Visit www.payusnomind.info, I-N-F-O, and also visit Suite, S-U-I-T-E, Franchon, Franchon.us. So we're here on internet radio, so you can open up a couple windows while we wait for everyone to come.
Wow. Welcome, everybody. We apologize for the technical difficulties, and thank you so much for calling in. This is your host, Suite Franchon, and you listen to Master Griot Radio, Beyond the Word with Suite Franchon. We thank you so much for joining us today. We are thankful that we are here and was able to work through whatever challenges we were having. Get right into it in a moment. As soon as I verify with the producer a couple of things, and everybody, we got to give shout-outs and love to our producer, Miss Jacqueline Taylor Adams, who always comes through for us. No matter what's going on, she gets it done. I know she might be a little frustrated right now because we're running a little late, but you've done it, Jackie, and we thank and appreciate you. And make sure, everybody, you continue to follow Master Griot Radio on Blog Talk. Again, I'm your host, Suite Franchon, and today's episode, which I found out is episode 15, we are speaking with artist Advocate Gif of Pay Us No Mind. He's going to talk to us about revenue, branding, and the legacy power of one poem, which I'm excited to hear about. If you don't know, you should check him out on YouTube. He has over 7.5 followers, so obviously he has content that people are listening to, and we're grateful that he is here so we can learn to stop leaving money on the table. It's time to inspire as many people as possible and start leaving true legacies. And like I said, we are so excited he's here. Please make sure you go online to Blog Talk Radio /MBBTA, or you can call in. Our temporary call-in number has changed. It's 516-418-5753. Please share on your Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We appreciate it. I am your host, Suite Franchon, and I am excited to introduce our guest. So, with no further ado, we have Gif from Pay Us No Mind. Welcome, and thank you for your patience. How are you?
I'm fine. You guys can hear me?
We can hear you well. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So we in business. So
yes, we are in business.
The introduction.
No, thank you for being here. So before we get into asking questions and getting some of the answers, take a moment and tell the listeners who you are and how we can find you and follow you and support you and learn more about you.
So my name is Gif. I go by Gif the Griot, artist myself, and a storyteller. And I also do, marketing and advertising and just supporting artists from the standpoint of, education, educating them on royalty collection and just how some of these platforms work and how they are being exploited to some extent, and just from the analytical perspective and teaching them things in regards of how to process their data and how to read their data and how to make decisions, based on stuff that's actually happening with their content, and take the guesswork out of it, and kind of focus on the stuff that matters. Outside of that, man, people can find me on YouTube. It's youtube.com/payusnomind. You could just Google Pay Us No, or YouTube search Pay Us No Mind on YouTube. You can hit me up at at Pay Us No Mind on Twitter, or at real_Pay Us No Mind on Instagram. So those are the places you could contact me at.
Awesome. Listen, you said a whole lot in a couple of seconds, so I want to touch base on some of those things. Let's first talk about, you talked about artists being taken advantage of, and that you've been creating content to assist artists in being able to, understand and understanding the business of royalties, how to collect, how to use your art, monetize your art. So let's expand upon that, if you don't mind. Tell me more. Like, I saw a couple of your YouTube videos, just basic stuff about the difference between BMI and ASCAP. So can you talk to us more about PROs and whatever general message you want to give to the public about not being, especially our artists that are listening, about not being taken advantage of? Tell me more about what you mean with that.
Yeah, so basically, there's strength in numbers, and this is why artists being educated is so vital, because until you have numbers, you can't really influence or impact any of these entities that collect money on artists' behalf to change. They're going to keep operating the way they're going to keep operating. So it's like right now at this point, the only way for artists to kind of collect the royalties that they owe for the public performance of their work, as songwriters or as writers, is to go through ASCAP to collect that money for you when your work is performed. But ASCAP, they just don't pay you based on the performance of your work. They pay you based on like this convoluted system, where they can almost filter out people who aren't making a lot of money for them. So the way that the ASCAP system works is they basically calculate payments based on market share, and they designate a certain amount of listening hours, a certain amount of time that they spend listening to radio stations based on market share, where the radio stations that generate the highest percentage of revenue, the ASCAP, get all of the listening hours. So maybe only the top 100 stations are being listened to, at any given royalty cycle. And even though they're only listening to 100 stations, they take money from all of the stations. Any station that plays music, ASCAP gets money from them on a monthly basis. So as a spoken word artist or as a musician or anything, you could have a song getting played like crazy on college radio. But if that college radio station isn't responsible for a high percentage of ASCAP's revenue, they won't listen to what songs are being played on that station. So even though you're supposed to be earning royalties for your plays on that station, ASCAP would effectively be taking the money from that station and giving it to big artists like Jay-Z and Beyonce that are on ASCAP and not paying you.
So what is an independent artist supposed to do? What is an independent? Well, how does an independent artist make money then? What are they supposed to do? They thought they doing the right thing by making sure that they were a member of ASCAP or BMI, and then they notice and they're not getting any royalties. But in order to even be on some internet radio shows, they have to be a member of one of those organizations or both. So tell me, what is an independent artist supposed to do then?
I mean, right now, like I said, you got to educate other artists, because the only way you're going to influence change is if there's like a groundswell of people complaining, and there's not enough people complaining. There's me, and there's maybe like a couple of other people, but for the most part, people have kind of been beaten into submission, and this isn't just in regards to music. This is in society in general.
This isn't. I was going to say that's a statement that has more than to do with music. It's just beaten in submission is an operative word for the state of affairs for people of color, specifically right now. So, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. You just got me all wild up when you said that.
Yeah, it's like people basically have accepted defeat. They've accepted that this is the way that it is, and there's nothing that they can do about it. And for the most part, it's already tough getting artists to even care about royalties in general, because for the most part, people, they know money in their hand. They know hand to hand. They know I sell somebody a CD, they give me $10 in my hand. They know I do a show, somebody give me $100 or however much to perform. When it comes to royalties and all of this percentages and pennies and all of that other stuff, that's not something that they're too familiar with. So when you're even trying to explain what's going on, they don't really understand it to the extent that they need to even be mad about it. It's kind of like going over like math, like it's kind of like explaining like calculus to somebody sometimes, because it's kind of, they looking at it, they're like, all right, well, I don't even know how that works, so forget that, like I'm trying to get a deal. They might want to try to get a record deal or something like that because they don't know how these royalties work. And these institutions, they make it a convoluted process on purpose. So when you go and you look at it, you're kind of like, oh, all these numbers, all these calculations, like, forget this, let me move on. And artists don't understand that there's a reason why when people negotiate contracts that these record companies will fight you tooth and nail over pennies. The artists kind of chuck it and be like, well, these are just pennies. But these record companies will fight you for these pennies.
Because pennies make dollars.
Yep.
And if they got enough pennies, they making dollars. That's just how it goes.
Making dollars, they're making millions. Because at the end of the day, the royalties are what sustains an artist's career. So it's like years and years after you've fallen out of favor and you're not on radio and you're not on TV, you're gonna make your money from your music getting placed in commercials, from radio spins on, old like how you got like Kiss FM that be playing the old songs and stuff like that. People using your music for different things in TV shows, and people putting your song lyrics on T-shirts and stuff like, all of those things require performance royalties, and public royalties for the use of your work publicly. So it's like when it comes down to those rights, you're going to make a lot of money off of that stuff, down the line. And that's why they fight you tooth and nail for it. But, I mean, it's really detrimental the way that ASCAP does things with the radio, not just because it's like not a lot of artists can get on radio to begin with. But but it where it messes things up is the fact that ASCAP basically utilizes the way that they track plays on royalties and apply that to everything. So, like, ASCAP is supposed to pay artists when they perform at live venues. Like, if you perform at your local cafe or bar, you're supposed to give royalties for that performance.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go home and write down that you performed at that place, right? But the way that ASCAP calculates payments for those performances and even calculate payments that they send out to artists for music played at bars and stuff isn't based on what the bar or the club or the venue actually plays or who actually performs there. It's based on radio plays. So whoever is getting played the most on radio is whoever they send all of the money they collect from the bars and the clubs and all of that. That's whoever gets that money, So it's like they have like a lot of different ways, to basically take money from the poor and give to the rich.
Well, that ain't new either. So we're going to stick to music, though, right now. We're going to stick to poetry and music and things of that nature. So that's a lot of knowledge in a little couple of minutes. We've only been on air for 15 minutes. So as you know, our artist advocate Gif of Pay Us No Mind is busting it up with us tonight. I'm your host, Suite Franchon, and you're listening to Beyond the Word right here on Master Griot Radio. Listen. I already know that I have a slew of questions, but he's touching base on a few things. We all want to live our passion. We want to do what we love. And a lot of people have a tendency to believe that as artists that you can't make money. Okay? Well, you can. There's a lot of different ways. We've talked about the business of spoken word and opportunities as independent artists specifically throughout all of our episodes. But today we're going to dig in even more with our artist advocate Gif of Pay Us No Mind, because he's talking about and breaking down some things about how ASCAP works for us and BMI, and in fact that it really doesn't. And why it doesn't, which is the most important piece. Most of us don't know the why. What's the reason behind it? How is it that I'm a member of these associations and I'm supposed to be getting paid and I'm not? And what does that look like and why is that happening? So he just touched base on a lot of that. But also you're going to follow him on YouTube, because I'm telling you, he has a wealth of content, and I was able to find some things that I found very, very valuable. But most importantly, based on some of the things that we have shared here on Master Griot Radio, I want you to talk about, you have a video that I found. It was only 3 minutes long. One was 3 minutes, one was like 15. 20 minutes worth of knowledge, but you talked about everything you need to know to make money on SoundCloud. So many people are on SoundCloud, but I don't know that they're making money via SoundCloud. So can you give us a couple quick pointers? And then, again, if they want all the detail, they can check out your video on YouTube. And let me tell you guys, he's got over 40,000 views on both of these videos. So obviously, he has a lot of knowledge. So I want you to make sure that if replay this, save this, listen to it a couple times, follow him, but specifically make sure you check him out on YouTube so that you can continue to grow and educate yourself. All right, so Gif, what do you have to say about how to make money on SoundCloud? We talked about ASCAP and BMI, so tell us a little bit about SoundCloud, please.
All right, so SoundCloud, there's two ways to make money on SoundCloud. One is you have to be invited. They have a Premiere Pro program that they invite you to, and you basically have to have a lot of streams on their platform. And if you have like hundreds of thousands of streams, they'll invite you to the Premiere Pro program. But another way is to join a third-party platform like Repost Network. I know Symphonic is a digital distributor, and they also do SoundCloud monetization. So you can either distribute a project through Symphonic and monetize your music on SoundCloud through them, or you can go to Repost Network and monetize your music through Repost. Now, Repost Network has a requirement that each track on your SoundCloud page has to have at least 8,000 streams. So if your tracks don't have at least 8,000 streams, you can't monetize on Repost Network. Now, I know there's another company that allows you to monetize on SoundCloud. Their name escapes me right now, but
they get the full detail on your videos, on YouTube, right?
They can check the video on YouTube and find out what the name of that third company is. But
that's still a lot, because most people don't know that. Most people think, most independent artists I speak with, they think they just post their stuff on SoundCloud and they're good, and their work is just sitting there.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not a lot of money to be made unless you're getting, like, a lot of streams, because they're paying you, like, fractions of a penny, and it adds up if you're getting, like, millions of streams or hundreds of thousands of streams. But if you get under a certain amount, you're not really going to make money anyway. I mean, platforms like SoundCloud and YouTube are more so awareness-building platforms. They're platforms that you go to expose yourself to an audience and build relationships with an audience, and then try to get those people to do things that you make more money from. Whether it be selling merchandise, whether it be doing shows, whether it be, getting them to buy your music or streaming on another platform where you make more money, Now, SoundCloud in particular, it's a platform that everybody uses because it's free, and it's open, but it's not the platform that I would encourage people to use, because they have certain practices, that just basically makes it like a vacuum where it's hard to get people off of their platform, and a lot has changed on their platform because they basically are trying to become like another Spotify. They're trying to become a streaming platform and get people to pay a monthly fee to use the platform. So it's not as like friendly or artist friendly as it once was. They have basically a lot of these different platforms, record companies take equity in them, have a responsibility to pay these record companies a percentage of their revenue and make sure that they pay the artists that are signed to the record companies that own a percentage of their company. So the systems that they set in place also, again, kind of similar to like the ASCAP thing, where they basically try to find ways to not pay people. So this is why they have like the Premiere Pro program, because technically they shouldn't be able to do it. It's illegal. They should have to pay every artist that has music on their platform mechanical royalties, but they don't. they make it so artists got to get invited, because at the end of the day, you got to look at it like a pie, right? And if you have a pie and you have 8 slices on the pie and you have 8 people, everybody gets 1 slice. If you have 16 people, then you got to start cutting them slices in half. You know, the more people you add to that got to get a piece of that pie, the more slices that pie got to get cut into, which if a record company is like taking equity in a company and they have artists, they don't want they artists getting a tiny piece of that pie. They want their artists getting a major piece of that pie because they feel like their artists are major artists. So SoundCloud has to find ways to eliminate people from getting a slice of the pie, which they do by restricting it to only people that they invite, you know, and then to prevent artists from basically profiting off of their music themselves by taking people off of their platform, they do things like hide your buy link on mobile devices. So when somebody listens to a Spotify track on a mobile device, they don't see the description box, nor do they see like your buy links or anything like that. So they don't see any way to lead SoundCloud to your song and how they can add it to their Spotify playlist, not Spotify, but to their SoundCloud playlist and stuff like that. So SoundCloud, even though there's a way that you can monetize your music on the platform, it's not a platform that you would want to use for that purpose. You know, you would definitely want to try to either build a fan base on something like Spotify or use something like YouTube, you know, because those platforms are just better for you being able to monetize your music and also better for you building a fan base and being able to take that fan base someplace else, you know, and do other things with them.
That's awesome. That's great information. I'm going to ask you one more question, and we're going to take a break for some music. I hope that those are listening, that you're digesting this, because he's so knowledgeable. Gif is so knowledgeable that he's just dropping all kinds of jewels in there. And if he's passionate, obviously, about what he's sharing. He's sharing it. He's told you a lot about multiple platforms in less than 30 minutes. And so there's platforms for monetization. He's told you what the downfalls are, but hopefully before we end, we always like to end on a high note. We want to talk about, yes, how you can actually make money, or maybe this isn't about that you can make money. Maybe it's about dealing with the reality that this is not how you're going to make money. As he mentioned, you're going to use these platforms to build your audience, to engage with your audience, and there's going to be other things. You might not make the money actually through your music or through your poetry or whatever. You might have to build that so that you can sell merchandise, so that you become a subject matter expert in an area like he has, possibly. And there's all kinds of other opportunities, and we might have an opportunity to talk about that. Now, early on when you first came on, Gif, you talked about, it's about numbers. It's about the digital distribution and the data. Can you expound upon that? Because I thought that was amazing, because most people don't either know how to, or not caption their data, or don't know how to interpret the data, or they think they do, but they really don't know how to use that to maximize it for their benefit. Can you talk about that for a couple of minutes before we go to break?
Yeah, I mean, there's just tons of data that go on when people interact with anything online, and everything is tracked. And if you set your systems up the right way, you can gain access to all of that data too. So it's like anytime somebody visits the website, it's tracked. They know that person visited the website. They know everywhere that person goes on the site, what videos they watch, how long they watch it, whether they subscribe, whether they like, whether they share, where that person goes when they leave that site, what that person tends to buy, type of content that person tends to favor. There's just a ton of data, that these platforms, and some of them give you access to it and some of them don't. But YouTube does, and SoundCloud gives you access to some data, like telling you how what songs people listen to and how often they listen to the song and what country they're located in and stuff like that. And that type of information you can utilize to plan tours and things of that nature, and also to identify what type of target audience you have, what age, gender, and location and interest your audience has. Now in order to gain access to all of it, you got to have things like a Google Analytics account set up, which is tracking code that you would install on your website if you have a website, or you would just use like your Google Analytics ID, to install on your YouTube page or whatever other platform you're using, to track some data. You could also advertise, because there's a lot of information that they won't tell you unless you advertise, which is kind of like to give you incentive to advertise, because it's like, as an artist, it's not just a matter of knowing who's consuming your content, because it's kind of like standing outside and handing out free samples. Everybody will stop and get something for free. Everybody will stop and taste it. What's important is knowing who likes it. And you're going to be able to identify who likes it. Like how many times does one person listen to your song, or listen to your spoken word piece? So you're going to want to know, whether on average one person listens 2 times, 3 times, or once. So if you have 1,000 plays and it's from 1,000 people, then it's like, that's not so good, because they're not willing to listen to it more than once. People listen to it one time, and that's all they did. But if you have a song that's getting listened to 3 times per person, then you're onto something, because they're listening to it repeatedly. If you know that somebody who listens to your song tends to like it, like press the like button, or they subscribe to your channel, or they playlist the song, and they take those types of actions, then you know that person is your target audience. And that stuff that YouTube doesn't tell you for free. They won't give you that information. They won't give you that information. Yeah, you only get that information if you advertise. If you run YouTube ads, then you can see like who the people are that subscribe and playlists and stuff like that. If you don't advertise, all YouTube will tell you is who is most likely to watch your video, because they make money from people watching your video. You make money from people being fans of your video. So it's conflict.
So did y'all hear that? That was a good jewel. They make money when
people watch your videos.
And you make money when
people like your videos.
Okay, there you go. So that was it. That's a good. We're gonna segue into some music on that one, because I need everybody to bite on that, chew on that a little bit. Why don't you? You're listening to Master Griot Radio. This is Beyond Spoken Word with Suite Franchon. I am your host this evening, sponsored by the lovely Jacqueline Taylor Adams and our guest, who is phenomenal. I really appreciate your wealth of knowledge and glad you're here. We have Gif of Pay Us No Mind. We're going to take a moment to listen to some couple of tracks, one by yours truly, Suite Franchon and a Million the Poet, and one by our special guest, artist Advocate Gif of Pay Us No Mind. So stand by, we'll be right back. So,
when I was 11 years old, my mother did something.
There it is.
She bought me the entire collection of Encyclopedia Britannica, which was like the Google of its time. And for hours, I sit and read through those books, and at the time, I was a big Greek mythology fan, so I sit and I read about Zeus and Hera and the trials of Hercules and Perseus and Odysseus, like I was a real big fan of the movie Clash of the Titans, like I love the movie Odyssey, I love the TV series Hercules that came out with Kevin Sorbo, and what I can say those books instilled in me was just a desire to know shit, like I just wanted to know as much stuff as possible, and I just love learning. And it was just unfortunate that love of learning didn't transfer over to school. I hated school, man. And every school year started off the same, I start off with intentions to do my best, and in the beginning, I do good. We read a chapter, do the reviews and the exercises, take the practice tests, but somewhere along the line, things will become a mess. The teacher will be like, we're behind. We start skipping chapters, he started looking stressed, and it was usually around the time we had to take the standardized test. So I'd struggle with the work, need help, come home and ask my mother, and she'd be like, it's been a long time since I was in school. That work done changed so much. Why don't you ask your brother?
Just ask your brother.
So I'd march over to him with my school book, and he'd do shit like squeeze his nuts through his clenched fist and be like, hey, Sean, look. See, to him, it wasn't important that he taught me how to do math or how to read and write. He taught me not to be a punk.
Yo, hit him
he
back,
taught me how to fight.
Hit him back.
He taught me how to dress and to keep my gear tight. He taught me how to dance and to party through the night. He taught me how to talk to girls. Taught me not to be a hater. Showed me the 30-gauge pistol he had stashed in the radiator. The crack under the mattress my mother washed down the sink. He gave me my first blunt, my first beer to drink. See, my brother was what some people would call, and because he was bad, people wanted to save him. When he was in the choir, our pastor, Pastor Eastman, wanted to save him. His basketball coaches wanted to save him. Good Samaritans in the neighborhood that just saw him going the wrong way wanted to put him under the wing and save him. When he was 16, he got his girlfriend pregnant and was in danger of getting kicked out of school. And my mother and my sister banded together, to make sure that he stayed in school and push him through and make sure he graduated. And he did. He graduated, man. Me, I was a quiet kid that kept to myself. I wasn't into sports. I wasn't athletic. I wasn't in the choir or anything like that. I wasn't in the streets wilding out. And I had what I refer to as, that's nice talents. In the hood, if you could do things like sing or play basketball, people look at you and see dollar signs. The C's part, they can't do enough for you. People look at me and they say, oh, you write stories? That's nice. That's nice you write stories. Keep it up. You could draw? Oh, that's nice. That's nice you draw. Keep it up. And by nature of what I did, everybody automatically assumed that I was a good kid. So they say, oh, he's just some oddball that sits in a house and writes stories. There's nothing to be concerned about. And I got into trouble, but not enough trouble, the way I'd be deemed a bad kid and need to be saved. And I did okay, but not good enough, the way I'd be deemed this great kid that need to be praised. So I was just kind of like left alone and slipped through the cracks. And back in them days, the public school system felt like it was counterproductive to separate you from your peer group. So even if you failed, they wouldn't leave you back. So I failed, and I got ushered from grade to grade when I didn't know jack, still counting on my fingers to add and subtract. And in high school, I found myself feeling like I was in quicksand because the new work was based on the old work that I didn't understand. So rather than sit in class feeling like a fool, I'd smoke weed on the steps across the street from the school. Inevitably, I became a high school dropout, sold crack, caught a case, and copped out. And all my mother wanted me to do was finish school, get a good job, and get the hell out of the house. Seems simple. I wish it was.
Yeah. Feel good. Familiar the poet. Suite Franchon. Could you dance with me? Check. One question. Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Do my 1-2 step and I'm gone. One more time. Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Do my 1-2 step and I'm gone. Could you be my Mary Jane? Could you be my... Take me away from the pain? Could you be my Mrs. Jones? Could you be my so we can get that thing on? Could you be my mind like Johnny Gill and put on that red dress and those high heels? Could you be my Sharia Moore? Make your love unblind when I'm out on tour. Could you be my metaphor for what love is? Could you be my everything? Could you be my whiz? Could you be my Aisha, the girl I never had? Could you be my Boricua when I'm feeling sad? Could you be my Bonita, ample bone, cause I'm looking at you. Damn, you got it going on. Could you be my dear Yvette? Taste so sweet. Could you be my candy girl, such a special treat? Could you be my Leah, angel from above? Could you be my heart? Could you be my love? Could you be my alpha, omega, beginning and the end? Could you be my soul? Could you be my friend? Could you be my heat wave, mind-blowing decision? Could you be my wifey without the extra E missing? Could you be my diamond, strip for me? Could you be my Betty Crocker, cook them strips for me? Could you be could you be? Can we kick it? Can we kick it? Can we kick it? I did my 1-2 step, now I'm gone. One more time, can we kick it? Can we kick it? Franchon, can we kick it? Did my 1-2 step and I'm gone. Next move, best move. What you gonna do? When I come through, hit you with the 1-2 like, yeah. Oh, I know you got something to say.
You know I do.
How you want to dance? Fast or slow?
Slow? Are you just talking to me, or are you really ready to dance with me? Do you know the difference between dreams and fantasy? Let's savor the moment. I hope you're ready to be the king that you claim to be, and not typical and ordinary. Are you the man that can find your way? Use your words as foreplay. Play with me with your words, you see, because I like similes, metaphors, and verbs. I want to love you without boundaries and constraints. The kind of love I get excited about over and over again. I want it easy like Sunday mornings. Real and familiar like Friday night fish fries and Saturday morning cartoons. I want to lay there in laughter, only me and you. It's this exchange of pure energy that expands the dreams of you and me. You know, I want to know if you can dance for me, 'cause I will dance for you. But I gotta believe it's only between me and you. You know, just us two. So, can you kick it? A million. Can you kick it? Can we kick it? Can we kick it? I've done my 1-2 step and now I'm gone.
How you want it? I can talk to you for a little longer. You know how I do. Hey, Miss Lady, be easy. Come flow with me, don't tease me. Just want you to please me. No, don't think you sleazy. Want you bring your breezy. We can have a ball. Put the sun down to the nightfall. Come on, come on. You said you feeling my flow. I'm feeling you from head to toe. So won't you come and blow me a sweet kiss? Oh no. What you thought I was talking nasty? 'Cause my voice got raspy. Just don't want you assy. So my tongue it comes in handy. Want a better bet. Want to bet you make you wet. To the point you will forget. On your mark, set go. Relax your mind, but let your conscience flow. I get high, you get low. If you don't know now, you know. Oh, flow with me, flow with me, flow with me, girl. Dance with me, dance with me, dance to my world. Flow with me, flow with me, flow with me, girl. Come flow, come flow,
We just got finished listening to Bad Enough to Be Saved by Gif the Griot and Dance With Me by Amelia the Poet and our own Suite Franchon.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I am here. Girl, we've had one challenge after another tonight, but it's all good. I was just saying, unfortunately, I had us on mute because I didn't want any background noise. I was just saying that, good choice, Jackie, on getting Gif to come on board and share with us today. He is sharing such a wealth of knowledge, don't you think?
Yes, I do. I think he's really great I'm sorry, I had myself muted too, just to keep the background noise out.
It's the way it is. So we worked it out today. It's all in fun and it's all in education. And pay us no mind. Please make sure you subscribe to his YouTube and get your notifications on, because he's always dropping awesome content. And we are down on the stretch. We have about 15 minutes left before we end our segment today. So I want to make sure I bring him back on. As Jacqueline said, he's a spoken word artist. He's an artist advocate. He is also advocating and teaching artists about, specifically poets, about building success. What does that look like? How to monetize these various platforms? How to use and understand your data and digital distribution. I'm trying to think of what else I want to share. We talked about SoundCloud earlier. Why or why not you want to choose that as a platform. One thing we didn't talk about specifically, and I know I want you to talk about it, if you would, give a little bit. Now, like I said, YouTube, we talked about that a little bit. We talked about SoundCloud. We talked about the importance of data. But I noticed that everybody believes they should go straight to CD Baby. And I know for me, I was on multiple platforms, and I don't find any of them. I haven't been able to find the one that helps me engage the way I want to with my audience and grow, except for Instagram has been my greatest gift. It seems where I'm able to find my tribe, and I'm able to engage and get people to like and use and go to the website and build an interest. For me, it's been Instagram. Reverb Nation personally hasn't worked for me. I'm, of course, on CD Baby because I have a couple of digital products out. SoundCloud, I have a few things sitting there, but I don't use it to its fullest capacity, I'm sure. So tell us about digital music distribution, such as one of the most popular ones that everybody seems to use is CD Baby or Reverb Nation. Tell us why that would be, what's the comparison, or what's the pros and cons of either one of those, if not both?
I mean, it all depends on what your objective is, CD Baby is a digital distributor. So their job is pretty much just to get your music into digital music stores like iTunes and Amazon and stuff like that. And once they get your music in the stores, you're on your own. So their job is to get your music in the stores and process the payments and pay you when they get paid, and that's pretty much their job, And outside of that, you want to maybe have access to data in regards to customer data, like what people are buying and what people are streaming and things of that nature, but that's what they do. Reverb Nation they have a distribution arm, like they do digital distribution too, but they're more so kind of like what MySpace used to be, where artists can go there and upload music and send fans there to listen to their music and stuff like that. They're just not very good at it. Instead of having like actual fans that go there, they just have other artists that use the platform too, and all of the artists on the platform just pretty much spam each other. So it's not a good platform to use because there's no fans there, so they're not good. Now, if you are looking for a platform to promote yourself, then it all depends on your personal network and what it is you're doing. So you have what's called search engine optimization, right? SEO. And that is basically terms that people are searching for. Like, let's say if I want to find a Whitney Houston song, I go to Google and I type in, like, let's say I want to find a bodyguard. I go to Google, and I type in Whitney Houston bodyguard. And then all of the results will come up with the movie, any songs with that title, any videos that got that song, that title in the name would come up as a result. So if you have content that works for search engines, then you would utilize something like YouTube, because if you do, let's say, a reaction video where you're talking about the bodyguard, or let's say you cover a popular song, like you take an old song like a Frank Sinatra song or a Billie Holiday song or even a Toni Braxton song that everybody knows, and they might be searching for on YouTube to find the original version, and you cover it, then people will find your version when they're looking for the original version, and you get a lot of attention like that. Now, if you're not doing something that translates well to search engines and people searching for stuff, like you creating completely original content, that doesn't have a built-in audience, like the search engine optimization stuff does, then you're kind of dependent on your personal network. You're dependent on friends and family and pre-existing fans that you have if you have fans. So that's when social media comes in play, things like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, when you are relying on your personal network, because then you can just to your network and let them broadcast it out. Where if your friends see it or your family members or whatever fans you have, they see it, they like it, they share it, and then their friends see it, and, so on and so forth. So each of those platforms have their different advantages and disadvantages. It all just depends on, what do you have going for you, and what's going to work for you, whether you are search engine optimizing things or whether you are somebody who's creating completely original content and you have that personal network to plug your content into. Now, if you're creating original content and you don't have a network to plug that content into, then you kind of got to advertise. You kind of got to move to promoting your stuff, through advertising, because you don't have the audience and you're not doing stuff that people are going to find on their own. So you got to get it out there somehow, and advertising is like a perfect way for you to build awareness. A lot of times artists don't have that personal network to plug their content into, and they're creating original content that people aren't going to just stumble upon, and rather than recognizing the fact that they got to spend money and advertise, they get frustrated, and then they start lashing out at their personal network and be like, y'all don't support me, people don't support me. They don't comment on my content, and it's like that's something that you never want to do, because all you do is turn people off even more, so you don't ever want to resort to that. You don't want to resort to spamming people and sending people messages that they didn't ask to send, tagging people and stuff that they're not in. You don't want to resort to those methods. So, advertising is a better option. Promoted posts on Facebook, promoted tweets, promoted Instagram posts, and do that type of stuff and find your audience. Find the people who are going to like it and build with those folks.
Right, absolutely. Awesome. That's so okay. So some takeaways for the day, generally speaking. Give me, if you would, we're going to play a little game. I'm going to ask you a question. Give me like a short answer. So tell me, tell me, what is the one most important thing that you think artists should know, specifically poets, when it comes to monetizing their craft, their art?
How publishing works.
Mhm.
Yeah, how
you heard that, everybody? How publishing works. That seems to be how publishing works. Always comes up. Period. Point blank. How publishing works. That is always the most important thing you can do as an artist, as a writer, as a creator of anything spoken word, that or musically as well. So that's a good answer. Thank you, Gif. Thank you. I like that. What's another question I have for you? Oh, I know. So, what do you find outside of publishing? What is the one thing that everyone seems to leave the most money on the table?
What do people leave the most money on the table? Mm-hmm. I would say in sales, like actual music sales. And they end up leaving money on the table a lot of times by being greedy, and this is something that's particular to certain types of artists too, not everybody, but a lot of artists, because a lot of times artists kind of look at it and say, okay, well, where am I going to make the most money? And direct sales, you're going to make selling your music direct through CD Baby or selling your music direct on a platform like Bandcamp, but people don't like to buy music like that. People, at the end of the day, when it comes to sales, it's convenience and affordability. Those are the primary things that drive what people buy. So it's like iTunes and Amazon is convenient. They already have the credit card information. There's one-click buying. And then, people have iPhones and they have iTunes. And when they buy it, it goes right to their iTunes library. so they don't have to drag and drop and import. They don't have to do any of that stuff. So it's incredibly convenient. So if people are going to buy it, they're more likely to buy it from Amazon or iTunes or whatever platform that they want to use, you know, and a lot of times artists lose money by trying to force people to buy from them in some place where they make the most money from, you know, because rather than getting something, they end up getting nothing because people will be like, oh, you sell your music on Bandcamp? Well, I don't like to use Bandcamp. And it's like, oh, I can't get it on iTunes? Well, forget it, you know, move along, you know. So, yeah, that's a lot of times where artists leave the most money on the table.
Okay, good stuff. So one thing that we talked about early on in your intro, that you would talk about revenue, branding, and this quote-unquote legacy power of one poem. What does that mean?
You said legacy power of one poem?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what does that mean to you?
I mean, an artist's legacy is through the things that they leave behind, their content, right? So it's like all it takes is one poem that's like a powerful piece. If you look at speeches from Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech to, you know, Malcolm X, "The Ballad or the Bullet," to Langston Hughes' pieces, to all of these different poets, and they all have their signature piece. And that signature piece, you know, people end up printing stuff from it and putting it on T-shirts. People end up making movies from out of lines from those poems. You know, they end up doing a lot of different things that not only impact society, you know, from a standpoint of inspiring people and from a standpoint of sometimes changing certain social situations while motivating people to think differently, you know, they also make money too, you know, in regards of just like the value of the content, you know, where people will pay, you know, for poetry books and pay for different content built around, you know, the stuff that artists create. So when I think of the artists and their legacy and their content and stuff, that's kind of what that translates to me.
Okay, awesome. And I agree. I think artists should also recognize if they have that poem that seems to resonate or that song that seems to resonate with folk, you know, we tend as artists to want to move on to the next thing. We creators, so we want to keep going. When our fans and those people who are supporters and spend money to see us or buy our stuff, if that's the form that they like and that's what resonates to them, don't you know, try not to tire yourself and get bored with that one poem, because that one poem could be that powerful legacy that you're leaving, not just on the people that you're touching immediately, but, you know, you never know once you actually leave this physical plane. I think that's important that we keep in mind. We get tired of it and we want to go on to the next poem, but if one of my poems, The Morning Rituals, if it's the most requested and it's what people have come to hear, then it's my duty and responsibility to let them hear it, you know. So we got to make sure that we keep that in mind, and that one poem, like you said, could be your legacy, could be the legacy that you're leaving behind. All right.
Got to give them the hits.
Got to give them the hit. You got to give them the hit. I know artists who get mad when they got to give them the hit. They like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, people start walking out your shows, or they not buying that next CD, that book, or whatever. Hey, you got to give the people what they want too. You know.
You notice, if you look at it, you notice all of the artists that don't like performing their hits, like years out down the line when they can't make no money, they start rethinking that. They come back out and they be like, it's not so bad. You know,
and that's all they doing those hits.
Yeah, they start doing those songs again.
They start doing those songs again. That's why the 90s is having such a resurgence, because they doing them songs. And they 50 years old, they doing them songs, let me tell you. Because, we still want to hear it. And we listen to your new stuff, but we want to hear what we know and what we grew up on, or whatever the case may be. Friend of mine, shout out to Kumo D, he don't never get tired. He said he been living off those same hits for 30 years. He don't never get tired. You know what I mean? He just finds different creative ways to mix them up in his performance. That's it. That's all. And he'd be the first to tell you. One time I said, well, somebody said something. He said, have you seen me make another record in 20 years? I'm good though. I'm good. I'm good. I still get calls. I'm good. So we got to keep that in mind. Not just from the performance side, but, the good thing for him, he has publishing rights. He produced a lot of stuff. So he's been able to eat off of what he did 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and still continue to, do what he does and do what he loves. So that in mind. All right, we are rounding it out, and we only have a couple of minutes left. We got about 2 minutes left, so we want to always close it out. Let me remind everybody that, you can always catch the replay of any of our shows of Beyond the Word with Suite Franchon on YouTube. I don't share them on YouTube yet because I don't video. On Twitter. You can also get links on Instagram, Facebook, and, of course, going to my website, peacelovepoetry.us or Suite, SUITE, Franchon, FRANCHON.us. I always forget to plug myself, and if you would like to continue with us, we also have another show, Soul Opera Radio and Soul Opera TV, and then Soul Opera Live, which is March 15th. At World Cafe Live in Philadelphia. It is my birthday month. It's called Bring Me Flowers, and we're going to go in because for some reason everybody comes to the March show. We have so many people performing, so it's a lot going on the calendar. Keep up with us, like I said, on sweetfranchon.us or peacelovepoetry.us or right here on Master Griot Radio, produced by the lovely Jacqueline Taylor Adams. And I just appreciate you guys for pushing me to continue to grow and share with you the various platforms, and I'm just grateful for that you allow me to live my passion, and you share and encourage me to continue to share everything I am and know when it comes to the growth and evolution of spoken word and being a poet and being respected as an artist and a poet. So I appreciate you much. But we're about to close out, and I'm going to ask our special guest, Gif of Pay Us No Mind, to give us any last-minute words and remind people of how they can reach out to you. And just, close it out for me. Say goodbye to the people as only you know how.
Hey, man. Artists out there, just keep grinding, keep performing your work. Don't get discouraged, if things don't look like they taking off, because you never know how people are responding to your work in the shadows. Everybody is not on social media. Everybody is, not going to hit you up on Twitter and Instagram and tell you that you're amazing, but that don't mean that people aren't in their house rocking out to it, and that they're not impacted by it and that they're not being moved by it, So I would say that, if anybody, ever want to reach me, again, you can hit me up at real_PayUsNoMind on Instagram or at PayUsNoMind on Twitter. Or if you want to email me, it's payusnomind@gmail.com. I got the YouTube channel, Pay Us No Mind, youtube.com/payusnomind that you could go to get more information and stuff like that, man. So that's pretty much all I got to say, man. Much love to everybody.
All right, peace and love. Then this is Suite Franchon. We thank you again for joining us. Make sure you listen to the rebroadcast if you miss anything. Lots of jewels in this segment. And shout out again one more time to the woman who made it all possible for us tonight, Miss Jacqueline Taylor Adams. And we are out of here. We'll see you next month.
All right.
Xfinity Mobile is a new kind of network designed to save you money while streaming your favorite music, like that 90s Jams playlist you've played 72 times today. It combines America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE with the most Wi-Fi hotspots. You can get up to 5 lines of unlimited nationwide talk and text included with your Xfinity Internet, so all you pay for is data. And now get a $200 prepaid card when you buy an iPhone. Visit an Xfinity store or click to see how. Restrictions apply. Require subscription to Xfinity Postpay Internet and activation of a new line of Xfinity Mobile. Up to 5 devices per account.